Welcome to part 2 covering the Solidworks Feature Manager. Now let's take a closer look at just the Feature Manager proper rather than just the settings. I'm going to expand this. My favorite part of the Feature Manager is really the display pane. And this is something that you can use the arrows on the screen to expand or collapse, or you can use F8 to do that as well. Now, SolidWorks in recent years has kind of cluttered this up with the addition of the Life Cycle and Collaboration tab, but I really like the display pane. What I like most about it is that you have the ability to turn features on and off so you can see the display or not. That'll include sketches and bodies as well. You can change your display style to any sort of wireframe or shaded without edges if that's what you want to do. You can change the color, and you can make entities transparent. Other types of functions that are available here are from the right mouse button menu, zoom to selection. So if you click on something in the Feature Manager, you can zoom to that particular feature on the screen. Other things you can do from the right mouse button menu would be edit the sketch plane, suppress a feature, roll a feature back, hide or show it, zoom to selection, and spin the view normal too. You can also turn a sketch into a reference sketch, roll to previous and roll to end, and we've looked at the comment already. The parent-child relationships can be helpful in troubleshooting. The parents are the entities in SolidWorks that have gone together to make the particular selected feature. This frame layout is the first feature in the part, and so it's related necessarily to a plane because it's a 2D sketch, and the origin because I've given it some sort of relationship to the origin just so I have a point of reference later on. The children will be almost everything else in the model. All of the planes are dependent on that layout sketch, and there are additional sketches that are also dependent on the sketch. Now, dependent means that an element of the original sketch was used to create this particular feature. So there might be a sketch relationship between something in this sketch and the layout. There may be a point used from the layout in one of the planes for other features, and the parent-child relationship in SolidWorks is a very important one. That's part of the reason why we have these arrows that show up, you notice, in the Feature Manager. These are the parent-child relationship arrows. You can turn these arrows on or off by right-clicking at the top level of the part and dynamic reference visualization for the parent and dynamic reference visualization for the child. If I turn both of these on and I select something in the middle of the tree, you'll notice that it has arrows that go both up and down the tree. The blue showing the parents of this particular surface loft, and the purple showing the children. So this becomes especially important for doing troubleshooting, and anytime you edit something, you want to know what the parent-child relationships are to avoid deleting things that will be needed in other features. We can also turn these off just to keep some clutter out of the display while we're working here. Features can be moved up and down the tree. For example, this axis can be moved up the tree. You can keep moving it up until you can't move it anymore, and SolidWorks will tell you when you can't move something further up the tree. If I try to move this sketch above the plane, SolidWorks isn't going to allow you to do that because the sketch is dependent on the plane. Now, SolidWorks has kind of a funny way of showing things. Nobody realizes this is funny, but it's kind of odd, actually. In real life, the parent always comes before the child. It has to be that way, right? But in SolidWorks, sometimes the child can be shown first, and then the parents. For example, Sketch 11 and Sketch 12 are both parents of the Surface Loft 3, but surface loft 3 is shown first. If we go back and turn on the parent-child relationships, and I select here, notice the purple goes up the tree, which is not supposed to happen. And same thing down here. Purple goes up the tree. Children are always supposed to come after the parent. People using Solidworks have kind of gotten used to this, and they don't even realize that it's the wrong information. So one of the ways to see the information in its actual order is to go back to the top, right-click, come down to Tree Display, and Show Flat Tree View. This will take everything in the Feature Manager and show it in the order in which it was created. Okay, so now we have sketch 11 and 12, and purple is going down the tree, blue is going up the tree. If we select the surface loft 3, everything is as it should be. And again, this is one of those things that you're going to have to deal with if you're working with a lot of troubleshooting. You get a lot of errors in your tree when you delete things, or maybe you delete one thing and SolidWorks just deletes a whole set of other features for you automatically. That's the kind of thing you want to avoid, obviously. So I like to work in this mode from time to time. Sometimes it's more convenient to have the sketches under the features, but it can also be very useful to see things in the actual order. Thanks for watching part 2 of the Feature Manager video. Hang around for part 3.